myself briefly, and then I will share 3 slides. My name is Lynn Sorrentino, and I know Scott through the Plover Rovers, but also through our master's program. We both attended the Marine Environmental Protection Program at Bangor University between 2017 and 2018. So let me share my screen. So my name is Lynn Sorrentino again. I work at the IUCN Global and Marine and Polar team. I'm based in Geneva, Switzerland. And currently I manage 2 projects called MarPlastics, which is the Marine Plastic and Coastal Communities Project, and Plasticoco. And how I ended up here, as it says on the screen, is I spent some time studying biology and zoology initially. And when I finished my original bachelor's degree back in the Stone Ages, it seems like, I spent 10 years working in software, and I lived in Seattle and I worked on a project at Microsoft. And during that time in 10 years, I'd still spent time in the ocean, by the ocean, lived on a boat, and did a lot of work with various beach cleaning efforts and things like that. I was always passionate about the ocean. I was always really interested in making sure I could keep connected to it in different ways, and promoting things on a personal blog I used to have about the Pacific Gyre garbage patch and the plastic issue and things like that. But after 10 years of that, I decided that I was done working in software and went back to a sort of my roots in terms of working in the nonprofit field. What I really wanted to do was do something better for the world. I mean, 10 years in software is one thing, but after doing that for a while, I wanted to do something that I figured would contribute more to the world as a, making it a better place. So I moved to Geneva in 2008 and began my career here in a women's rights organization doing fundraising for them, because I had done some fundraising for marine and women's organizations and environmental organizations and political organizations in the States. So came to Geneva, did that for a couple of years, and then found a really interesting organization to work for called IUCN, and was working through IUCN and the Ramsar Convention on Wetlands. Did that for several years. Ramsar was primarily the work around wetlands communication, and I partnered with the Danone Avion company. That was the main funder of the job that I was in, and my work with them was partly related to plastics, but partly related as well to conservation of wetland areas around the world, and some of the projects they funded through their different foundations. Well, when I finished my work at Ramsar and went to work for another NGO that rapidly went bankrupt, which was the case around this time period, decided at that point, okay, I'm kind of done. I need to go back and get some new education, and I want to go back to my roots of being, back to the ocean. I really want to work on something in the marine field, much more so than wetlands or coastal systems. So I went back in 2017 to Bangor University and got my MSc in Marine Environmental Protection, and then came back to Geneva at that point when I was finished, and have really happily landed back at IUCN. So a little bit more about my background. I am a scuba diver. I'm a wannabe surfer. This picture was taken about 14 years ago, and I still haven't managed to actually stand up on a surfboard after all this time of trying. And it doesn't help, of course, living in a landlocked country either. My BS was in biology with a focus on zoology in Humboldt State in California. And then, as I said, I moved to Wales, eventually got my MSc at Bangor, and have now been in Switzerland for a while. I have been doing STEM teaching as well as a volunteer through the Wales STEM groups and other groups within Seattle and in Switzerland. And I'm also a cancer survivor. And the importance of me mentioning that is that it is also part of my crooked path of getting here. Was I came back to Switzerland, I got sick, I spent some time being sick, I got better, I had really short hair when I was doing my interview, and I got a job in the middle of a pandemic last July working for IUCN again. And again, it doesn't hurt that I actually knew a couple of the folks there on the team. And so this is the project that I work on now primarily. And it's an initiative in Africa and Asia that works in South Africa, Mozambique, Kenya, Thailand, and Vietnam. And we focus on knowledge, capacity, business, and policy changes. And it is funded by the Swedish development agency, SIDA. So I will stop sharing now. That is my story in a nutshell, very, very rapidly.